Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am sharing with you my diary entry for the week of August 14th through 20th. Today is Saturday, August 20th. These are my reading, crafting, and TV/movie watching vlogs. So basically, I just share with you what I've read, what I've crafted on, and what I've watched throughout the week. And then anything else that I do that might be exciting that I'd like to share with you. So as always, we'll start off with the reading. So this past week was the Monochrome Manga Club meeting. The Monochrome Manga Club is an in real life manga club that I host at our local Barnes & Noble. We actually had a really great turnout this past week. And yeah, we had a lot of new people come to last week's meeting. So I just finished filming my Monochrome Manga Club series First Impressions video. So I did talk about Volume 1 of Kami-sama Kiss. This is by Julieta Suzuki, published by Viz Rated Teen. And then I also talked about Beauty and the Beast of Paradise Lost, Volume 1 by Kaori Yuki. This one is published by Kodansha Rated Older Teen. Both of these videos, both of these volumes I will not be talking about here, since I have already wrapped them up in my Monochrome Manga Club series First Impressions video. That video will be out the Monday after you're seeing this video, so not the Monday after I'm filming, but Monday, August 29th. So that's when this video will be posted, and then I will go ahead and talk to you about my thoughts on those volumes then. So the other volumes I read for the Monochrome Manga Club was volumes 3 and 4 of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. So this is by Koyoharu Gotouge, published by Viz Rated Teen. This follows our main character here. Oh, what's his name? Tanjiro. He goes off to sell some coal to the close by village, which is not actually close by. And he wants to try to make some money for his family because he has several siblings and his mom is a single mom. And so he goes off and tries to earn some money so they can have a nice holiday. When he comes back home, he finds that his whole family has been slaughtered. His sister is still warm to the touch, though. So he grabs her and tries to take her back to the village that he came from. But she has been turned into a demon. And so he is basically now on his journey of becoming a demon slayer and finding the demon that turned his sister into a demon to try to cure her from being a demon. And so in these volumes we meet a couple other demon slayers. One of them is this guy with the boar mask, and then you got this blonde character here. I thought these characters are pretty interesting. I don't quite like how brusque this one is. Like, he's always rearing for a fight, but I get that that's like his character. But right now we're just following like all 3 of these characters, plus Tanjiro's sister, who he keeps with him because she needs to be with him since they're only the 2 left alive from their family, so they're all each other's god. And this character I'm finding very interesting, especially at the end of Volume 4. Something happens with him that I think is going to be interesting to follow going forward. He's very like outrageous. Like, his outbursts are outrageous. He's very hilarious at times, but there are also times where he's just kind of like the more normal of the group. But yeah, this kind of group of characters, I'm wondering how long they're going to be together. I have no idea because I don't know this series. I'm basically just learning everything new as it comes. I've not had any spoilers or anything. My daughter seems to know a bit about some things, but we haven't watched the anime. I haven't really followed any of the talk on it, so all of this is new material to me, so I do like these 2 volumes better than I like the first 2. I feel like with the first 2 volumes, I had a bit of an issue with how time was passing, because I don't feel like it was told very well. But in these volumes, not much time is passing, or I don't feel like there's a lot of time passing. So I'm not as confused. And I feel like this is more like, okay, now we're on our journey type of thing. And, we basically see them either every day or every few days or whatever, we check in with them. So it's not like in the beginning where it's like, okay, this thing happened and then he's training to become this demon slayer and all of a sudden so many years have passed. It's just like, where did all of those years go? I don't understand, type thing. So I did like these 2 volumes more. There's a lot of action sequences and interesting characters, and so I'm really, really enjoying this so far. The other one, on the other hand, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, I'm still not enjoying the series, guys. I don't even know at this point. We're in a new arc for sure. There were new Sailor Scouts introduced in this volume. I'm still not enjoying Usagi. I do not understand the actions that she takes or how she's acting. She's a high school student, middle school student, and there are scenes in here where she's sleeping over at Mamoru's house. Your parents aren't concerned about you? I don't understand that. Are we supposed to just take it that this is complete fantasy, so it doesn't matter? I mean, if that was the case, why isn't Usagi aged up a bit? I mean, even if she was sleeping over at her boyfriend's house in high school, that's still kind of young. I don't know, is it just me? Am I just having those motherly instincts? I would never when I was in high school. But yeah, it's just not something that I don't understand why her parents aren't more concerned. And yeah, she still acts like a kid. I don't feel like she's mature enough to be staying over at a boyfriend's house. And boyfriend seems to be living on his own too, so that's a little bit odd, but whatever. There are just so many things in this that I do not get and I'm not enjoying. I did fall asleep 3 times while I was reading this. It was very difficult for me to motivate myself to keep reading this, and because I have to, because I run the manga club, I have to read it so that I can discuss these things with the members, and this is not an enjoyable journey for me, guys. And outside of the Monochrome manga club, I know I've told you that I've been struggling with my reading, and this is not helping. Manga is usually something that I can just, get through right away. It's a nice, easy read. It's really enjoyable. But this is not. This is not enjoyable for me. I do not look forward to the time where I have to pick this up every month. So, yeah, not enjoying this. But I did find the new Sailor Scouts to be interesting. But, yeah. This one ended in a halfway part because this will go into the next omnibus. So number 6. It's so bad that I constantly forget to add the volumes to my buy list every month. So right now I do not have volume 6. And I was just at the store. I should have just bought it and brought it home. I mean, there were copies right in front of me and I just completely forgot because it's not important to me. So my mom is actually going to bring that home for me today. But yeah, that's everything that I read this week were the Monochrome Manga Club selections. I did put a little bit more, or a few more pages into Kushiel's Dart. But this week has just been really stressful at work with the new security upgrades for our business operations, and that not going as smoothly as planned. IT not getting back to us in a timely manner, and we're like talking 24 hours their turnaround time, if not longer. And when you're unable to do work and they come back to you 24 hours later, that means you've lost 24 hours. Thankfully, the only person who was affected by that was my boss. But I'm getting off topic here. So because of all of that stress, I only listened to my audiobook twice this week. I couldn't actually read any pages because I was focusing on the Monochrome Manga Club stuff. So I right now am on page 655, I think. Chapter 68. I may be a little bit further. I can't remember. But I think I only listened to the audiobook twice this week. So that would have only given me like 2 hours of listening time. And normally an hour is about 4 chapters. So if I'm not on chapter 68, I'm on chapter like 72. But yeah, this one's, I'm still enjoying it. But truthfully, I don't know how much more of this I'm going to get read in this month. And I'll talk to you about that more a little later in this video. But the other thing that I decided to pick up this week was my 3-in-1 volume of Bleach. This is by Takeuchi, published by Viz, rated teen. So I'm continuing my read-along so that we can do the watch-along with my daughter. This is the 11th 3-in-1 edition. And I am 1 volume in. So I'm 1 volume in. That's the beginning of volume 32. So I've only read volume 31. I'm still really enjoying this, and so I do plan on getting this done sometime soon. I'm going to use this for my Orilium Magical Readathon. And speaking of that, I majorly screwed up on my TBR for that. So for some reason, and I think I know why, I had watched the announcement video for the Orilium announcement while I was working, and so I must have phased out and not heard that if you have to do the highest level that you still need to do the previous 2 in order to get to that highest level. So I do actually have 8 prompts I need to complete for Orilium. So I'm having to kind of redo my TBR for the month. So Bleach was actually on my rotating decks TBR game. So this will be done before the end of the month for sure. And I'm actually going to use that one for my O prompt for restoration, which is a single object focus. And so since there's only 1 character here on the cover, I think that counts, right? So that'll take care of that. For my Q prompt for restoration, which is the last one I need for that class, I am going to use Kushiel's Dart. Because this is on my owned before 2012 shelf. And so I'm also using this for my rotating decks TBR game. So that kills 2 birds with 1 stone, right? I know I just said I'm probably not going to finish this for the rest of the month. We'll see. I know we can take a little bit more time if needed to complete our classes. That's probably what I'm going to have to do because there are just some things happening in the next couple weeks, which, like I said, I'll talk to you about later. So that'll take care of my restoration classes, which is great. Astronomy, I just needed 1 class, and I needed a book with an L in the title, so that I already had. And so that I'm going to go ahead and do Beauty and the Beast of Paradise Lost. And so that's already done. That's great. Check that off. So astronomy is done. For animal studies, I still also only had 1 class. So that was a familiar or animal companion, a book with a familiar and animal companion. And I'm going to use Kami-sama Kiss, which I read this week. This one has a fox demon right there. And so my animal studies class is done. Check. So now I have 4 classes left. So elemental studies, I needed a D, and in my TBR video I only put the D, which was for C setting, and I haven't actually gotten to that one yet. But in order to get there, I need 2 other classes. So one of the classes is for O, which is an element of water. So I need to read a book with a drink. And for that one, I'm going to go with Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba 4. I read this one while I was drinking a cherry lemonade. And so I read this one during my lunch break on Thursday. So, yes, I waited until the last possible minute to read it because Thursday was our Monochrome Manga Club meeting. But O is taken care of. So now I've got 2 classes left for elemental studies. One of them, the next class I need to take for elemental studies is Wind Direction, a random book adjacent. So I basically need to like do this thing on a bookshelf and then like blindly, and then wherever my finger lands, read one of the books that are next to it. I haven't actually done that one yet, so I'll need to do that. Obviously, at this point, either going to want to do a manga shelf or a really, really thin bookshelf. So I need to do that. And then the C setting I already have. And then the last class is Shapeshifting, which I already had in my TBR video, and that's Wings on the cover. And I haven't actually started that book yet. So I'm not doing too bad, actually, on my Orilium Magical Readathon prompt. So I was a little stressed out, but a lot of the stuff I've already read do already fit into that list, so that's great. So that is everything that I have read this week. So now let's get into some crafting. So I did start a new knitting project. It is in this dinosaur bag that I got off of Etsy. I am going on vacation, so that is part of what's kind of screwing up my timeline for this month. So normally when I go on vacation, I don't actually go anywhere. I just stay home and relax. This time I'm actually traveling. And so it'll be the first time that I actually travel somewhere in almost 5 years, I think. It's been a really, really long time. We were supposed to go on this vacation in 2020, but obviously with everything that happened, things got canceled. And so this is a rescheduling of that trip. And so for this vacation, I'm actually having to get on an airplane. I do have a bit of flight anxiety, and so that's kind of also been weighing on my mind. It's kind of weird because I've not always had flight anxiety. I kind of feel like my flight anxiety started after I lost my grandfather. I know I've talked to you a lot about my grandfather. We were very close. I lost him when I was in high school, and every time we flew on an airplane, he was always with me. And I do feel like maybe I feel like my safety net kind of got lost when I lost him as well. I don't know, but every flight I've taken since I've lost him, I have had flight anxiety. And so it's kind of like the point where I'm attributing to when my flight anxiety starts. Now, I don't know, it may not be that. It might just be, things that happened in the world after that. But yeah, I have flight anxiety. I get really, really anxious when I have to get on an airplane, or even when I just have to go to an airport. And so, yes, I'm going to have to get on an airplane. So part of what is holding me up, like with this, is like I don't want to take this with me. because I really don't want to have to take a book onto the airplane, just because, you know, shoving it into a bag and stuff is gonna make this ruined. Like, I feel like it's gonna get all bent out of shape and stuff. So yeah, I might see if I can find a digital copy of that to take along with me, because I am going to take an e-reader of some sort with me on the plane and for vacation. The other 2 books I actually have to read for the Orilium Readathon are digital books, so that's great. But anyway, I wanted to take a knitting project with me because the flight is long. I'm not sharing with you where I am going. That is going to be a surprise. You will find out about it in my vlog, which probably won't be next week, but it'll be the week after. So like not the first week of September, but the second, like the week of the 7th, I think the 7th. I just think I will need a lot of time to edit the video together. So yeah, no Disis19 Diaries next week, just so you know. But I needed something that I could do on the plane, something that was mindless, something that I wouldn't have to look at instructions for, a small project, and not just something that I could pick up, you know, when I was on the plane really easily, but just something that I could pick up whenever, when we were like at the hotel. I don't intend on taking it with me when we're not at the hotel. That's just not something that I do, especially because there's just too much other things to do and see and eat and all of that stuff when you're on vacation, right? So I started a new project because the only other projects that I have that are kind of mindless like this are sweaters, and that's just too much yarn to be taking on a trip. So I started a new project. So I put it in this dinosaur bag because I just thought that would be fun, and it's see-through, so in case, you know, airport security and all of that. I decided to do it on a 10-inch circular needle. So this is wooden needles as well, because they're nice and blunt, and I figured I wouldn't have any issues with TSA. I just didn't want, you know, with all my flight anxiety already, I didn't want to get stopped by TSA and have them possibly take my needles. And I mean, they may still, but I figured since I've already started the sock, that it would be obvious what they're for. That they're blunt, they're basically like really thick toothpicks, right? So yeah, this is going to be what I work on if I decide to work on something while I'm on vacation. So I already did the cuff. It's just a 2x2 rib, and then I have this self-striping yarn. So these stripes are actually really thin. I'm using a really old skein, so you can see there are lots of different colors in there, and they're really thin stripes. So I actually did a pair of socks in this yarn for my daughter kind of early on into my sock knitting journey, and I've been holding on to this yarn to make myself a pair, and I just never did. And so I thought self-striping would be nice because it gives you that interest, just to see the colors keep coming, because it's going to be just a plain stockinette sock. So that's what I'm doing. I don't foresee that I'm going to get anywhere near the toe by the time I'm back from vacation, or by the time I'm on vacation. And so, yeah, just an easy as possible sock. So this is actually Quare Fibers, Quare, Quare, I think is the company name. They do a lot of the self-striping yarn, and a lot of the ones I had seen before, because I haven't shopped from them since I purchased this, were like really high number of stripes in the skein. So the color repeat was very long. But this colorway is actually Diagon Alley, so it's a Harry Potter reference. You can see like in there's like some Gryffindor and Slytherin colors, and there's also some other colors in there as well. So yeah, I thought that would be just nice to mindlessly work on the plane or whenever. And then this cuff here is leftover. You've seen before. This is ice yarns. I did reskein it so it was nice and tight in this ball instead of being a floppy hank or skein, floppy skein. This is basically what this is. Ice yarns in a navy. It's solid sock. And so, yeah, I am doing the rainbow pattern by Michaela Richter. This is it's a pattern that you could use self-striping for. The pattern actually has you alternate colors, mini skeins. And it doesn't use a traditional like heel flap and gusset type of heel or like a fish lips kiss heel or anything like that, short row, shadow wrap. It uses what's called, I believe, the perfect heel. And it's basically worked in like the round, so your increases to give you your gusset are done in the round, and then it also incorporates your like heel flap area, which is not really just, it's not really a flap. There's just like a heel like cup. I think that's what they're calling it. Just at the bottom of your heel, and then it just continues round and round and round for your foot. So I thought, you know, because I'm doing it on a circular needle or a 10-inch, that I would just try to get a pattern that would be as easy as possible without me needing additional needles. Because for me, when I do heels on these, I actually like to do afterthought heels only, or use a secondary set of needles to do the heel flap and gusset and then move back to this. But I don't want to have another set of needles with me. I just want to have this because it's just too much. And so, yes, this is my vacation knitting project. And yeah, so now I'm set for that. I don't think that I'm going to be working on this much before I leave. But I will have this on my carry-on. So that is that. As far as crafting, that's all I've done this week. I've continued to play video games because that's all my brain could handle with everything that happened. Just trying to get my boss squared away with, you know, his email and security thing, and trying to get things done for him. Making sure that all of my coworkers knew what needed to be done while I was out. And things like that. So yeah, I am officially on vacation, which it still doesn't feel like it because, you know, this kind of just feels like my normal weekend, but I'm sure once I start traveling, it'll feel like I'm on vacation, but I need to get through that flight anxiety first. But yes, so TV and movie show watching. So we finally got the Jurassic World Dominion movie, and so this arrived the day that it was released. I did a pre-order on Amazon because it was on sale there, and yeah, so I really enjoyed this. We watched the extended edition because there's two editions in this set. There's a theatrical version and the extended, so we just decided to go ahead and watch the extended version. I did do my digital code because it comes with a digital copy. We watched it, and in the middle, like I would say more towards the end, during one of the dinosaur attack scenes, the picture kind of goes out. Like, I didn't know if that was something that they had meant to happen, because you know when pictures like go out, you get like the different colored screens and things, but your audio is fine, and then it came back after. But I rewound it, I played it again, and still that scene was always different colored screens with just the audio. So I'm curious to see if it's different on the theatrical version. But something tells me that that scene is not supposed to look like different colored screens, and there's something wrong with the digital copy. So I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really, really great. I enjoyed the little like Easter eggs and things. And so yes, I would be up to watching this again immediately, especially to just check the digital copy. But yeah, I don't know who to talk to about that if there is an issue with the digital copy, though, because I didn't buy the digital copy. It just came with this. So do you go to the people that you redeem the digital copy from? I don't know. So, yeah, really enjoyed that. Last night we finished up watching Killer Cases Season 2 on Hulu, and that is like a true crime from law enforcement point of view. So each episode is a case, and the prosecuting attorneys and the cops and stuff all talk about their experience with the case. And so, yeah, we watched the first season a couple years ago, I think. And so the second season came up on Hulu, and we watched through all of that. A lot of the cases that are in season 2 we were already familiar with from watching the true crime YouTubers that we watch. So that would be Coffee House Crime and That Chapter. We also watched Dire Trip, but he does more like Japanese true crime videos, or a lot of them. But the cases that were brought up in Killer Cases were ones that we had watched on Coffee House Crime and That Chapter. And when they do videos, it's more like a general overview of the case. But with Killer Cases, it gave a little bit more of an extra dimension, because you got, like I said, the prosecuting attorney's thoughts throughout the case, and then the arrest and the cops interrogating these people and things like that. So it was still a very interesting watch, even though there were cases that we were already familiar with. So yeah, that's pretty much everything we did this week. So by the time you're seeing this, it'll be Wednesday the 24th, I think. I think I'm traveling on the 25th. So yes, our flight is very early in the morning, and usually when we have morning flights, I don't sleep the night before, just so that I can pass out on the plane and kind of relieve myself of some of that flight anxiety. The flight is on the longer side. And so, yeah, once we get off the plane, I'll be fine until we have to get on again. But yeah, positive thoughts for my plane ride. I've been hearing some crazy things happening on planes recently that just freak me out. It's just like, why am I hearing about all of this stuff right before I have to get on a plane? Like, really? I think there was something that came up on YouTube about flight disasters, and there was this one like news piece on a big hole in the airplane when it was in the sky, and the plane crashes, and there's people like saying they've got explosives on the airplane, and I'm just like, I don't need to see all of this right before I step on a plane. I don't. So any positive thoughts you can send my way for my flights, that would be appreciated. Like I said, there won't be a Disis19 Diaries until September 7th. And that will probably be more of a full-blown vacation vlog, taking you through where I went, what we're eating, what we're doing, things like that. You'll actually see on-site footage, provided my cameras work when we get there, and things like that. So yeah, definitely a little bit more different than what I normally bring you in a Disis19 Diaries. More of a vacation type vlog. And so yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got for this week. Let me know down in the comments below what you've read. Have you watched anything interesting recently? Have you watched Jurassic World Dominion? And if you have a digital copy and you watch the theatrical version, let me know if you have some weird color screens towards the end during a dinosaur attack, because I don't want to give away any spoilers and tell you exactly where it's happening for me. But if it's not happening for you, I'm not sure what's wrong with my copy. But yeah, if nothing else, you would just like to let me know that you were here. If you could leave me some kind of, I don't know, is there a dinosaur emoji? I think there might be a brontosaurus or something like that. Or any kind of like monster or animal emoji, that would be great. Greatly appreciated as well. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And I will see you back on September 7th, if not sooner. So until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.